Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we'll be going over a brand new event that was released for this week's update, but before that, there have been a few more ships released into the game, especially for pre-release. But first, let's go over the newest special ship. Well, it's a tier 20 ship, it's another Chinese destroyer, and its name is Hangzhou. And this is probably one of the strongest ships in the game, right up there with Lioning, and I am not even kidding. Despite its size, it's not a cruiser, it's actually a destroyer. It's a massive destroyer at that. So let's take a look at what we have. We will have our own video on her, possibly and probably tomorrow. But I just want to show you real quick 40 rounds a minute fire rate with extremely fast shells. And the shells do a ton of damage. This ship just tears battleships apart. We also have a ton of health as a destroyer. Got torpedoes, nice range, go 32 knots, and we have a torpedo bomber helicopter. Yeah, so deal with that for a moment, but that's not even the best part. Take a look at her anti-aircraft defense. Look at how strong that AA is. Nothing's ever going to get past this, and honestly, I don't blame it. It's an amazing little ship, and it has a nice little radar as well. It's just absolutely insane. And like I said, we'll do our own video on it, and I will show you exactly why I think this is the strongest ship in the game, or at least one of them. Moving on, we have pre-release to about half of the French tech tree line for destroyers. We have the tier 5, 6, 7, and 8. And these ships are very interesting. I will wait to review them until the entire line is released, similar to what I did with, well, the Russian battleships as well as the British heavy cruisers. We're going to wait until everything's out, and then we'll go over it all at once. That way, if there's any changes, well, we can review the changes there as well. So this is the Tier 5 destroyer, Borask. Pretty nice little boat. We got 4 guns, 2 triple tubes. We have Eagle as Tier 6. We now have 5 guns. You have the extra one right there. And again, 2 triple tubes. We have Vaquelin. 5 guns in the same setup, but we have 1 triple tube and 2 twins on either side. And Le Terrible, which again has 5 guns, except we have 1 gun over here. And we have 2 triples and then 1 triple there. I'm not going to say too much on these destroyers right now, but I will say right off the bat, these are the strongest destroyers in the entire game. Without a doubt, hands down, the absolute strongest you can get. Just a real quick view of them in general. They have insane speed. Le Terrible has 41 knots by herself. I don't think Vicquelin has any faster. It goes 36. So they're insanely fast, such as all French destroyers should be. We have already had a little bit of experience with French destroyers with Le Fantasque, which has already been out in the game for a long time. But it's actually not a good example of French destroyers, believe it or not. In fact, it's actually kind of worse than the tech tree French destroyers, which is very surprising. We'll go over more of that when we actually go over Le Terrible, which is more or less the sister ship of Le Fantasque, and then we'll be able to compare and contrast them pretty well. But let's just use this ship here. So we have large caliber guns. Starting at tier 6, we get 139 millimeter guns, which is just short of light cruiser caliber. It's a 5.4 inch gun. Armor piercing can citadel cruisers, heavy and light cruisers, that is. And high explosive can sink destroyers in 3 salvos, and can actually do pretty decent amounts of damage on battleships. The armor piercing can also do chunk damage on battleships, quite substantial as well, especially with Borask. We have 130 millimeter guns, so they're a little bit smaller, but just like Farragut, you can Citadel Congos at broadside, and actually at pretty good range too. I would say up to about 9 kilometers. And if you have a Congo broadside, switch to armor piercing. You're going to do a ton of damage to it. So we're insanely fast. We have hard hitting guns. The guns themselves have a pretty low shell velocity. In fact, let's actually check what that is. Yeah, 700. Let's see what Le Terrible has. 840 and 800. So you will feel a little bit of drag with your shells. That's not an issue. If you can land your shells, you don't have to worry about that. The guns themselves do turn a little bit slowly, or slower than I would prefer. But I have put a few skills and modules into the rotation, so I've mitigated that to the best I can, and I am happy with where it is now. So guns, amazing. Let's see what else. Going back to the speed real quick, you are insanely fast, and you do get a speed boost, as you should. But then that also means that your maneuverability is god awful terrible. I've started to get into the habit that anytime I want to turn, I always slow down to half speed. That way I actually don't take the entire map to turn around. And if any of you have these destroyers already, you should follow that and see how it works for you. Because yes, you will lose your speed, obviously, but you'll actually be able to turn in a relatively decent turning circle. The torpedoes. This is one of her two, well, actually, the French destroyers have 4 main points. Their speed, their guns, their torpedoes, and their consumables. So just quick over on the torpedoes. These are all single launch torpedo launchers. So for example, I can launch one out of here. I can launch one out of here. Launch one over here, another one over here, and they each reload singularly. So you can launch one and then have it reload by itself. But this gives you the option, at least on this destroyer right here, on one side, if you use these 2 launchers, you can target 6 different ships. And these torpedoes hit hard. 22,600 damage. I did already increase their damage. I'm getting 24,860 damage out of these. That is an insane amount of damage. If we actually go to Akazuki, which is by far one of the strongest torpedoes we get, 23,300 right there. I don't have the upgrade there, but we're already doing more damage than an Akazuki torpedo, and Akazuki only gets 4. If we launch every single torpedo on Vaquelin or Le Terrible, we're getting 9. So that's more than double the amount with more damage. These torpedoes hit hard. Usually it only takes 2 or 3 torpedoes to sink an entire battleship. So that's one launcher. So if you race into a group of battleships, that's one battleship, that's one battleship, that's one battleship. And it's so fun. Especially with Le Brasque, where we're at tier 5. It's only like, well, still two or 3 torpedoes, but whatever you don't finish, you can use your guns to destroy. And especially on Congos, you can torpedo them and then just sit there and laugh and citadel them with your guns. So yeah, that's pretty amazing right off the bat. The torpedoes will have an extremely long reload. 0.5 rounds a minute there. I don't know if Le Terrible is any better. 0.38 rounds a minute. It's actually terribly worse. But considering how strong they are, I don't mind. And since you can single fire them, you don't have to use them all at once and then wait however long it takes to reload them. You can launch one, wait a little bit, launch a couple more, wait a little bit, launch a few more, and then by the time you do run out of torpedoes, the ones you fired first are close enough to getting reloaded. I like to split up my targets, so I'll use, like, in this case, I'd use 3, and then later on I'd use 3 more, and that way when, after a little bit of time of sailing around, these ones will be reloaded relatively quickly. So you don't want to spam your torpedoes. You do want to use them sparingly, and they are kind of low range as well, at only 7.5 maximum right now. But honestly, it's so much fun. I kid you not. And one last thing before we go over today's video, you may notice the consumables. There's no smokescreen. None of these French destroyers so far get a smokescreen, besides Le Fantasque, but she's a prism ship, so she doesn't count. In fact, we actually get a heal. Yep, the Russians are no longer the only destroyer with a heal, and neither are the Japanese. We get a French heal, but here's the best part. You have 7 charges on this. And that's even starting at tier 5, mind you. Brask has it, Eagle has it, Vaquelin has it, and Le Terrible has it. 15-second uh, duration of these, and they cool down in 40 seconds. But you have 7 of these. And you already have quite a bit of health as well, 17-1. That's pretty good for tier 8, actually. So yeah, not only can you just rush into the enemy ships at, I don't know, 50 plus knots with your speed boost here, you can also citadel them with your guns. You can also one-shot them primarily with your torpedoes, and any damage you may take, well, just wait around a little bit, heal up, and you'll be good as new. I've had games where I've been pretty much close to 0 health. I extract myself from any conflict, and I just sit around for a couple minutes, and I actually get my ship all the way back to full health because you don't have a citadel, which means you can't take citadel damage, which is the pretty much the only damage you can't fix on any other ship. That's not a destroyer. So these these ships are amazing. They are only available for pre-release for star coins right now, but I highly recommend you at least look into these and see if you would want to do these. They did say in the update that they would be released in a normal tech tree afterward, so if you don't really want to spend all the money to actually get the star coins, just wait around a little bit, and they'll be out for free sooner than you know, hopefully. And then I look forward to the rest of the destroyers as well, because if I remember correctly, the French destroyers were a split destroyer line. There's 2 lines you could go down. One was an AA based, and one was torpedo and gun based, I think. I'd have to look back on that. That being said, though, I am very excited for whatever comes next, because these destroyers are already my favorite ships in the game almost. I've been looking forward to French destroyers for so long. It's so nice. Okay, enough talking about that. Let's see what we're going to do today. Temeraire, where are you? There you are. Okay, so we're going to try Temeraire, not for any particular reason other than the fact that I haven't played her in a while, and you're going to want high explosive for this event. 100% going to want high explosive. So it's pretty much just like a space station. Kind of. It's not the space map, unfortunately. I really wish they would take or bring that back. I really liked it. But you have like a bunch of surrounding battleships, cruisers, destroyers, and then you have like the space station, which has a laser on it, which is not fun. It also has anti-ship missiles if you get too close, which I found out the hard way. I was sailing my Joan of Arc for the first time I was trying the mission, and I got sank in 3 shots from those anti-ship missiles with all my buffs and everything. So pretty strong stuff we're dealing with here. You can go with a team, so maybe we can deal with or tag along with a team today. And I'm mainly using, like I said, Temeraire for the fact that it has a lot of guns and a lot of high explosive. So let's take a look. All right, we got ourselves a team. Let's see what we have. So we have an Illinois, Musashi, me, and Temeraire, and we also have a Key, an Alsace, Prince Angelo Friedrich, which is H-42, and we also have an Orion, which is the Space Montana. We are going up against K001, which is the space station. We have a Veneto, Holzendorf, which is the space Bismarck, Markgraf, which is a Tirpitz, Blue Sister, which is that new AA British cruiser for rank points, a Seattle, Albemarle, Ochkov, Le Terrible, Vaquelin, and Igo. Actually, that's another thing. We have to go over the reward for the entire event as well. It's a camo for Tashkent, which is Ochkov, as you just saw there. It is a very interesting camo. That is all I will really say about it for right now. And yeah, you'll be able to see at least 3 of the newer French destroyers. I can't really say if we'll actually have much engagement with them though, but there we go. There's Le Terrible over there. So you immediately start out with Orion all the way in the corner over there. You can just barely see it. And we have H-42 over here. And there is K001. Very susceptible to high explosive. We are kind of at a longer range here, aren't we? But we're going to use armor piercing for right now and just try and whittle down some of these other ships. There's Glow Sister. She has those really fast shells. Is it 1260? What was it? Yeah, it was really fast. Meters per second, that's what I was looking for. Alright, I am kind of starting off my Temeraire game a little differently. I'm starting with armor piercing versus high explosive. But I feel like I can do better against this Bismarck with armor piercing than high explosive right now. Also, I like how the Orion always ends up dying, but the H-42 just barely has a small scratch on it. Those two are pretty taken care of right now. Those aren't even in range. Alright, there's the Veneto. Let's see if we can get any damage on her. Trying not to attract attention from the space station right now. As you can see, it does have that laser. I haven't played Temeraire in a while, and there's a lot of drag on these shells. Oh my. Alright, we got Musashi over here. Keys over there. And I can only imagine the Illinois is racing all the way over there to the east. Alright, so let's see what we can do. Actually, let me show you what armor piercing does to this ship first, as I switched over to high explosive, just to show you why you should shoot high explosive or armor piercing at it. Also, there's those bombs right there. We just missed it. I'm sure it'll send them out again. Yeah, overpens. 6K right there. But high explosive, on the other hand, we're actually going to switch back to... Alright, so those dive bombers right there, those are the anti-ship missiles. We're going to take a hard turn right here. Boom! Look at how much damage that does. And that's an H-42. It's no laughing matter. 3 shatters. Interesting. Right, yeah, we're going to turn right here and put the island between us, because I feel like we should finish off some of these smaller ships first, because once that H-42 goes down, we're next. We got armor piercing loaded again. Nice. Not the best targeting from me, though. The Albemarle and the Veneto are heading down to the south. Let's see if we can get a sneaky little shot at this Veneto before she goes behind the island here. Alright. This mission isn't impossible solo. It is a lot more challenging, however. We got some little bit of hits there. I have done it solo before, but I mean, having a team just makes it a little bit better. I really like to know where that Gloucester is. Also, the space station is already almost down to half. Okay, so the Bismarck doesn't seem like she wants to engage us. Oh, and as I say that, oh, there's the Gloucester. Alright, so we're going to finish off these 2 ships, then we're going to work on the space station, and then it's just mop-up duty at that point. Boom, there we go. Once a Minotaur, always a Minotaur. You can always expect a Citadel from them. I don't like this angle we're getting, though. But I have 12 16-inch guns, so we're just going to switch back to high explosive immediately. So I don't think that'll be enough to sink Bismarck. Just kidding. Through the deck pens. Let's go. Alright. Barely taking a scratch. And we pretty much only have the space station in range. I could be cheeky here and try and get the kill. But I don't think I'm going to be able to. And I did not... Yeah, there we go. Boom, gone. Alright. It means we have the Veneto. And the Ochakov, I'm pretty sure. Game, can we work? There we go, thank you. Yep, the Ochakov. And... something like that. Let's turn ourselves around. Nope, not enough lead. Let's try our luck here. I want to see if I can hit this destroyer. Now, Tashkent is no slow ship. Oh, if she hadn't turned, actually, I still might. Oh, just short. Okay. Yeah, let's just keep sending shells down at this Tashkent here. Don't know if I probably won't hit anything, but we're gonna still try. Yeah, we got the key right there. That'll be more than enough to deal with her. Alright, let's see how that works. Maybe? Nope, still way too fast. Alright, well, we're not going to get another chance to shoot that ship before she goes down. So let's just give you a little rundown on the event. Yeah, you have the space station, 3 battleships, a few light and heavy cruisers, the 3 French destroyers, and the 1 Russian one. But besides that, it's really not that hard. That Illinois got a ton of kills there. Nice going. I actually thought about taking Illinois too, just because, but I decided to take Temeraire instead. Alright, let's see how we did. We didn't even crack 100,000 damage. Wow, we didn't really do anything that game. And yep, as expected, we're at the bottom of the team. But you know what? That's fine. We still passed the mission. Before I forget, let's go over the camo for Tashkent. As I said, it is interesting. I've renamed it Ochakov, and it is a nice little green camo. And for this, we also got an ornament for this newest update, and I think it looks really good on this camo. Now, one thing I don't know why is why we have corn as our torpedo launchers. And yes, the torpedoes themselves look like corn. It's a bizarre thing, but I do like the green camo. I will say that. So I'm going to keep this camo, even though I'm not a fan of the corn. But there we go. This is the final reward for the event. Speaking about event ships, I'm pretty sure there is also a few more event ships available for purchase in the special store. So let's take a look at that real quick. Once it loads, here we go. Alright, let's see what we have. Trafalgar. Okay, we got Trafalgar out there. The only destroyer, actually, no, make that the second, well, the first destroyer with a secondary. We have a small little gun here, but I'm pretty sure Hangzhou, that newest Chinese destroyer that came out this update, it says it has a secondary, but I haven't seen it in action yet. I'll have to take a look at that. Pretty good little ship. I mean, you got 2 twin 114 mils up front. You got 2 quadruple torpedo tubes. I mean, there's nothing really special about this ship. I don't really play that much. In fact, Lightning and Legion, which are also at the same tier, are better than this ship ever will be. So you might as well just ignore this one, in my opinion. Halford. It is a Fletcher, -1 gun, -1 torpedo tube, plus a couple planes. Not really sure about this one either. It's not a terrible ship. I'd rather have this one over Trafalgar, but still not a ship I really play that often. Though they did increase the torpedo tube reload on this a couple updates ago, so that'll be nice addition. It does reload in I'm pretty sure a minute, which is really nice. The 4 guns are still the amazing guns that you have. It's kind of like a smaller Sims at a higher tier, with only 5 torps instead of 8. But you do get the addition of either fighters. You have 2 options of fighters. You have Kingfishers and you have Wildcats, I'm pretty sure. And then the other one was at it, because there's Garibaldi, Kronstadt, Kitsushima, H41, Prince of Wales. So yeah, the first one, we had West Virginia, Prince of Wales, H41. Then we had Kronstadt, Kitsushima, Garibaldi. Maybe it's Kronstadt. I'm pretty sure we already went over it. Yeah, Kronstadt. Yeah, I think we only have Halford and Trafalgar as the newest ones. They're mediocre at best, but still not terrible ships. Or at least Halford's not. I definitely don't really like the Trafalgar. There we go. All right, so enough blabbering on. That is the newest update. We have access to French destroyers. They're amazing. They're fun. They really only have two weaknesses, actually three: torpedo reload, AA defense, and they turn like a goddamn brick. But you can take measures to resolve all of those the best you can. But they're extremely fun, extremely OP, especially with those 7 heals. I really hope they don't change it though, because it does make them interesting gunboats. I never thought anything could rival Farragut at tier 5. This comes pretty dang close, if not just barely surpasses that. And then we got an awesome new Chinese destroyer, which we'll go over tomorrow. It is amazingly strong, and I can take on battleships with these and not really have to worry about it. In fact, I've had one of my commenters and subscribers say that they took on the Midway mission 4-4, which is the hardest one of them all, and was able to beat it with this ship alone. So if that gives you any idea of what the ship can do, then yeah. I definitely recommend this ship. It is a diamond ship, I'm pretty sure. I forget how I purchased it already. No, it was diamonds. It was like 1,600 diamonds. Yeah, so there's that. Also, speaking about purchasing ships, all of the prism ships and gem ships, I think, in the shop, minus a couple, are actually on discount right now as well. So if you have been looking at any, maybe this is the time to get some. All right, I will officially wrap it up there before I keep going any longer. Thank you for watching today, and join me tomorrow while we go over Hangzhou. All right, take care.